Hi, folks. First of all, thanks for being the guinea pigs for our presentations. And I know it would be so much more nice if we could have an interrogative discussion around this content, but of course, we're trying to be safe. With that in mind, thank you so much for the coverage. This is a big chapter, right? Because it's squeezing a bunch of history together in order to get to the point where we are looking at the 13th Amendment, very specifically this idea of criminality as a new strategy, whether, as a master design or as a loophole design or as a condition. This, this kind of strategy for containing um, the black community, especially after hundreds of years of slavery. And like you all mentioned in the presentation, the struggle of the white conscience, right? Um, so there was good order. There was also good extemporaneousness, meaning like you all were talking about the material as it was kind of lived within you. You weren't just kind of cycling through reading, recapitulating the chapter, which I think is really useful. So thank you for doing that as well. A few things that could really even make this stronger, though, for the understanding and clarity, for the class as a whole. One, could we have a bit more examples of the issues in Reconstruction? Um, what was going on there? To understand that there were troops that were, positioned in the South to ensure that these amendments were being followed. Um, it'd be good to know a little bit about, the way the North and the South were conditioning themselves, or the way the federal government was running Reconstruction, so that we understand how eventually the Jim Crow laws emerge, right? How they kind of squeak in. If we had more examples of that, you know, more specific kind of coverage of the black codes, for example, how the 13th Amendment loopholes were manipulated, that could be really useful. Um, just to have the examples lived so that we had illustrations of the ideas that you all are bringing up. Also, just so you know, slide 6 just kind of fizzles. I'm not sure what happens there, but I think it's John's voice. I'm not sure, but it just kind of dies. And we're not sure how the rest of that continues. Maybe clarify that. Uh, there was really good mention of the Supreme Court decisions that were happening post World War II. That was a good mention. It's not like the civil rights movement just emerged. There seemed to be some federal government intervention, and there were obviously issues that politicians were seeing that were problematic. And it's great that you mentioned that. Just clarify their circumstances more so that the narrative is clear. Um, specifically around this idea um, of voter rights. Yeah, interesting how we're still dealing with the same issues, right? We know very much that there are there are statewide legislative efforts currently about voting accessibility. Anyway, um, but those things would make the presentation even more clear. Also, just proofread your slides a little bit. There's some typos here and there, but that's not as important, of course, as the overall kind of ideas that you're presenting. And I think you all did a good job with that. Thank you so much for the effort. I wish I could see you in person. Hopefully, we'll be able to discuss these things in the classroom soon.